Hi, this is Clem from Wakaba, Oklahoma, and you are watching CHARTattack.com. Yes!
We're here with the Sunparlour Players, who are
Andrew.
Rosie.
Dennis.
And as the creeks don't rise, well, work till the white gets down.
You guys have a very interesting origin. Could you explain where your actual band came from?
Well, we come from all different points of Ontario, but a lot of the theme stuff on our album is based on rural, like a farming community that I grew up in, southmost tip of Canada, down about half an hour south of the Windsor-Detroit border there.
Leamington, Ontario.
Yep. Yeah, I grew up in the country around there. I didn't grow up in the town. That's no.
Now, are you guys country folk as well?
I guess about the same as Andrew. Not on a farm per se, but I grew up in northern Ontario in a small town on the Quebec-Ontario border, about 100 miles.
Gananoque?
No. Past that. It's up like about 100 miles north of North Bay.
Where?
A town called Haileybury.
I grew up in Toronto, and there's just no story.
How did you get hooked up with a couple of farm boys?
I met Andrew at the Transac, the local establishment, and I used to see the Sunparlour Players, and he used to see my bands, and somehow last CMW actually was the first time I played with Sunparlour, so it's kind of an anniversary, I guess. We realized on the way down.
Now, city versus country, does it ever seem kind of weird that you end up in the city?
No, not at all. I mean, people got to go to the city sometimes to get stuff.
Supplies?
Yeah. No, I love both, but I always go back to the country, but we live in the city now.
But now the Sunparlour is where they call their home.
There's certain themes and tones in your music, very, I don't know, I'd say gospel, spiritual, some imagery of death, that sort of thing, all this stuff. Is that sort of a fire and brimstone from the country vibe that you sort of grew up in?
I don't know, I guess. It also just comes from reading stuff, but I, one side of my family is like preachers, and for the most part, and the other side's a lot of farmers. So I don't know. A lot of it has to do with the environment, and the other side has to do with like just growing up in like a lot of environments where you're talking about spirituality or death.
Rosie, explain your foot.
It's a foot. I broke it. It's better now.
What exactly were you doing when you broke your foot?
I was playing rock and roll music.
What exactly were you doing when you were playing?
Kicking a bass drum, of course.
Now, did you guys notice that there was anything amiss when his foot was broken on stage?
No, definitely not. It wasn't until afterwards, I think, that he kind of realized that there was some soreness going on, and we're like, come on. He's the sissy in the band. So
I didn't notice anything until like 2 hours after, and it just started like limping, and to the point where I was screaming pretty much.
We had a show in Kingston the next day, so like Rosie was in pain, and he went home, and we were like, oh shit, I hope you're okay, but we didn't really know if it was a big deal. Like nobody really knew what it was, but when I think we talked really early in the morning or something, and you were like, I've been at the hospital all night. I don't think I can. Oh, but you still tried to make the show.
Yeah, I was in the doctor's office waiting for the X-rays to come back,
we were
on the
talking.
phone with Andrew saying this can still totally happen. I can get, if you guys have to leave, I can get the bus.
Yeah,
that was where we got to.
He was gonna take a bus to Kingston with like his foot all bandaged up to play the show, but I mean,
somehow we didn't.
We thought about it for a little while and went,
something slapped me in the head, and then I went,
maybe I should rest.
Yeah.
So does that set the bar pretty high for the two of you?
It definitely did. It was a lot of rehearsing in the van on the way to Kingston. Sort of like, how can we do this? All right, drums here and bass.
The only good, well, it's not good, but like the thing that was we were able to salvage it a little bit is because we have 3 bass drums in the band, and you broke your bass drum foot, so we were able to at least kind of do a halfway version.
Smell that water coming.
And on the topic of bass drums, how many bass drums is too many bass drums?
4.
More than one per person is too much, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
that's definitely
2
true.
for one guy.
If you have an 8-person band and you have 8 bass drums, that's
reasonable.
That's reasonable. But if you have like 10
Yeah.
and there's 8 of you, like
Come on.
it's indulgence.
Yeah, it is self-involved.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a good show.